Good evening, everyone. Welcome to December City of Glens Falls Planning Board meeting. Our first order of business will be to approve the minutes from the last meeting, the November 5th meeting. Any comments or concerns with the minutes?
Make a motion to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
First order of business, well, let's do this one. I will open the floor for public comment tonight. Please come forward one at a time, state your name and address. Please remember there is a 3-minute time frame for public comment. I'll ask you to address the whole planning board as a group, not to single out any one board member for your comments. I would also like to remind you this comment period is not a dialogue or conversation, it's simply public comment. We will give you a little warning. I was asked that 30 seconds before the time is up. When that comes around, we'll do that, all right? So our first order of business this evening, just take care of that, is site plan and architectural review, SB 25-009, 196 Ridge Street, Glens Falls, LLC, owner of tax map number 306.16-16-1, commonly known as 196 Ridge Street, represented by Ethan Hall of Brzezinski Hall Architecture, is seeking site plan review to convert the existing building from a 2-unit apartment building into a 6-unit apartment building, as well as construct 6 future townhouse units consisting of 3-bedroom units pursuant to the City of Glens Falls zoning code, chapter 220-14B 1 and 2. This requires site plan review and approval. Architecture review, AR 25-004, 196 Ridge Street, Glens Falls, LLC, owner of tax map number 302.16-16-1, commonly known as 196 Ridge Street, represented by Ethan Hall, Brzezinski Hall Architecture, is seeking architecture review to convert the existing building from a 2-unit apartment building into a 6-unit apartment building, as well as construct 6 future townhouse units consisting of 3-bedroom units pursuant to the City of Glens Falls zoning code, chapter 220-14E 1 and 2. This will require architectural review and approval.
Good evening, everyone. For the record, John Rapp, we're also representing the applicant with Ethan Hall. Since the last meeting, we've submitted what was requested by the board, a traffic letter indicating that there's no traffic impact. There was also issues raised by the neighbors about impact on the school system, and we're fortunate to be able to submit a letter from the school district superintendent saying that the school has plenty of capacity for multifamily and encourages it, which was nice to get in writing. We don't always get that from the school district. But in general, I think that the level of opposition here doesn't make sense because we're taking a dilapidated structure in an area of the city that has, unfortunately, a number of dilapidated structures and doing a renovation project that provides multifamily in the multifamily zone. That whole area of Ridge Street is multifamily, which, as you heard last time, multifamily is encouraged. There's a need for it in the city. There's multifamily all around us where we're sitting tonight. There aren't problems with multifamily in Glens Falls. And these are a mixture of just 2 1-bedroom, 4 2-bedroom, and 6 3-bedroom, which addresses some issues that were raised before this board last year on multifamily projects, the need for families, that this provides that. But more important than that, it's a high-end project that's going to be architecturally nice for the community. Still a small project with only 12 units, and it's worth pointing out that in this zone, 19 units are permitted, so this is not maximizing the density as some developers would. And based upon the concerns of neighbors, who again are primarily in a 2-family zone, some of them are in a 1-family zone, but they're right next door to a multifamily zone. The project now has a fence around the boundary and significant landscaping along the fence, so it's well designed and it's also well buffered. Of course, city water and sewer, no problem with traffic. This will be an improvement to the neighbors because it's a nice project. So with that, I'll have Ethan go through the details.
Thank you. For your records, Ethan Hall, Principal of Resisting Hall Architecture. The couple items that we had discussed at the last meeting, I think most of them Nina came from you, but some of the things that we've taken care of since we met last, we had shown bank parking spaces back here. We've all agreed we no longer need those. We've taken those out. There's no indication of additional parking to be done in the future. What we have shown is what's required, and we meet the requirement for the parking for this area. Site plan wise, I believe that was about all that we had discussed. The other remaining item is something that I've gone over with Nina, and the request to make the front-facing portion of the building that faces William Street of the proposed 6-unit townhouse to make it look more like the front of a building. So to that end, we've added a roof over the top of the door, and we've extended the roof of the utility room out over the end of the building so it looks like a porch that goes the full length of the building. Makes it look more like the front of the house. And the other two items that we had talked about were colors, and I believe we have the brick color sample and the siding colors. Need to keep copies of those?
Yep.
Okay. There was a water supply analysis done by New York Fire. They tested 2 hydrants. You've got the flow results there, well in excess of anything that we're going to need for these to provide sprinklers within the building. We did get some comments today from the city engineer regarding water and sewer. We have no issues with what they proposed. We can take care of that. It's all construction details.
We can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Wow! I'm usually told to shut up. So we did get information today, supplied to us today from the city engineer. There's some minor things in there that are mostly engineering and construction details that they're looking for, and we have no problem taking care of those. With that, take any additional questions you might have.
Just for the record, I spent a lot of time talking to people that are for this project, that are against this project. I think a lot of the points have been raised. I think one of the concerns they have, even based on what they said, is that there's concern for water and sewer, and that you're going to take care of it. That's not, and I'm not doubting that you're going to take care of it, but I think just like the traffic study, I think people are looking for, here's the traffic study. So, I mean, is there something coming from the water and sewer as far as the city engineer? Is he?
Yeah, were they given his comments?
They should be right in front of you, Tom.
Yeah.
You should have his comments. They're mostly connection details that they're looking for. I provided them with the flow rates. I provided them with everything that we need for that. They just want us to confirm a couple of things off in their records. It's not capacity issues. It's just they want to see where the connections are going to be made.
And actually examine the pipe, which would be good for the neighborhood.
Okay.
And our fire prevention officer wrote, I have no concerns with the project. We did receive the flow test with the passing notice. Distances of the driveways have been provided in new code. I have no concern with the project moving forward. That was from our fire prevention officer, Lieutenant Colonel. Speak up.
We can't hear you back here. So this is a public hearing. It's in the public. The microphone will expand and speak clearly so the rest of us can understand.
Should we pass it?
You can bring the chairs closer if you want. If you organize them, we'll try to speak up.
Well, it's on.
Mr. Raymond, do you have anything?
I guess the only reason I brought that up
Well, wait, hold on. a second. I have people coming to the conference. They tell us this will be our last meeting in this building.
I guess the only point I was trying to get to is that I'm assuming that all this is public record.
Yep.
Except for things like this, I think it would minimize some of the animosity and some of the questioning they say, here's the traffic study for the issue. I'm not anybody's question here, but I think we can settle some of them.
Everything has been submitted, it's all part of the public record.
Okay, all right. As I look at the revision here, I think one thing that was brought up, I think that one thing that encouraged me about this project was that typically, just had one around Glens Street, typically a project that just starts out, you've got a building in disrepair, you've got a lot that looks like a jungle, and the bulldozers come in, they clear it out and start moving. So, you know, the more I thought about this project, I think this project is kind of a good compromise for that, because you're taking a historical building, you're renovating it, you're expanding it. In a lot of cases, it's less expensive to tear something like that down and bring the new construction up to code and energy efficiencies and being accessible. So I think part of it's there. I think that the lot is something that I'm surprised that we as a city were more concerned about it, but, you know, the fact that I also realize too that that's one of the things that made that property unique to you guys is that later buffer. So, again, it seems like there's a compromise because you're not going to have the big buffer that you had before, which you had before. And then they took the time to have a arborist come in and a lot of the trees that they feel should stay, they were unhealthy trees, and they're going to end up, they're going to fall on your house. So, like I said, I think that's some of the good things that I've had my personal and the planning board's credibility called into question that, and that kind of stuff. I've had the planning board compared to that were a punch card checklist that you just come in and make sure all the boxes are checked. You send it out down the road to the county house. We looked back 3 different times, 4 different times. Every single thing that we have asked them to do based upon public input, they've done. They've done. They didn't have to do a lot of stuff. They had. That's what I think the planning board, with so many questions that say that we're overstanding in favor of developers. It's the planning board that's about here. We fought to make this thing. And again, my personal opinion, I have been told that there's no legal precedent that you can stop this thing. So what you've got to do, and my thoughts is you got to come up with the best of both worlds. You can't stop it. You can lawsuit, but you can all that, but by the same token, we took the parking out of the front, we got a buffer, you got a fence, you got shrubbery going in, patios were taken off the back, and then by the activity in the back. To me, you've got a developer that I think is a discipline to public town. But I fully appreciate the fact too that the people that are going to live in the proximity of this, the atmosphere is over there in change. So I guess just my final thing is, to me, I'm encouraged the fact that we've got to do, I apologize for the bad name. Tax. I think Glens Falls is going through it's got the biggest road pains in its history. Project like this, and groups like tags, I think are going to bring to light the fact that we've got to update our codes, we've got to update some of our regulations. But by the same token, too, you can't can't set a precedent for the rest of the city, to kind of pick and choose and say, okay, for this project, we're going to put that aside and that. So I think a lot of it has to do with you've got to comply with current codes and regulations and told everyone to come up. You know, we're working on a comprehensive plan right now. There's been a lot of public input for that, and I think a lot of this is going to change. So, like I said,
Mr. Sherman?
Yeah, so it looks like he answered a lot of my questions that I had. I'm glad to see the full testing was done on side street rather than Third Street.
Yep.
Shows you have plenty of water for domestic and fire protection. So that's one thing that we were concerned with. The other thing is I kind of wish we had this information prior to tonight regarding sewer. These are also things I brought up 2 months ago regarding information I'd like to see and check to make sure the sewer capacity was, could handle that. So right now, as it stands, that was a great letter by the city engineer a couple hours before this meeting. So by looking at that, something we're just going to have to look forward and make sure that you said you're willing to comply with that and willing to take those actions which he requested in his letter.
Correct.
As far as the project, I mean, I live very short distance from that location. I drove by that location every day for the past 20 years. It has been in poor condition for the past 20 years. I've been in the home. It was in just as bad condition in the inside as it was in the outside. So I believe that that is a huge improvement, what you're doing. And the plans I see on that existing piece of property, complaint about parking in the front, there was at least 3 or 4 cars that were broken down in front of that house for 20 years. They've been sitting there at the side of the house. So as far as the existing structure, you've done a phenomenal job with your plans and created a huge improvement to that. I understand adding the other housing to this development. I believe financially it's probably not feasible to make the improvements in that existing home without having another source of income, and considering that this is zoned property and allows you to do that, I understand where you're going with it. I appreciate that you've listened to everything that the public has said, everything that we have said, and I have not seen one thing that hasn't been answered to this point. So we answered all the public comments that I wrote down last week when they last month when the public was commenting. You answered those either that day or since then. So you've answered every question that the board has done. You've made every concession and everything the board has asked you to do to improve that piece of property. So like I said, I think that overall this will be an improvement to that point.
Where the parking is going to be within a bank, it's not, it's not going to be down,
Green space.
just all green
Yep.
space.
All green space, all along.
I've been thinking about this a lot too, and I think everybody should know that we're happy with each other here and talking to everybody about this, because I think it leads to better outcomes for everybody. I agree with everything you guys have given us a lot of information, and the back time, I like that a lot, facing the Lake Street side, so I think that looks very nice. And when I was thinking about it, I know the green space is a big issue, because we talked about it last time and heard all the public comments, but I kept thinking, if somebody bought this and made it a single-family home, they could tear down every tree there and they would never come for a planning board, because that's not their purview. They could put a pickleball court there. They could do anything they want. And I'm surprised that has not come to the attention of the city, how overgrown it has been. And it was an attractive nuisance, and I'm surprised there hasn't been more trouble, honestly. So in that way, I do think it's a great project to spiffen up that part of the neighborhood. It is zoned correctly. You're not maximizing the density, which I'm very happy about. I like the green space too. Yes, I think you guys have brought everything that has been asked for. There's been good communication back and forth. So I do appreciate that.
I think the plan is well developed.
You got us?
You're gonna have to speak up.
Try to,
You gotta speak
try to speak up.
Yeah,
I know, it's tough.
Sure. I believe the plan is well developed, and I really appreciate you responding to all our questions. Although I'm really happy with the approach to renovating the existing building and making that better. I really am. But I'm uncomfortable with the additional 6 apartments. And I really believe the neighbors, in my mind, have made a compelling argument. So I really am comfortable with the total plan, although the principles are good, you presented it well. I'm very happy with the renovations and the additional apartments on the main house. I don't support the 6 units in the back.
Just to like pull out and give larger context, this neighborhood has a lot of rental units in it already. So we've heard from concerned neighbors in single-family homes, but I think we also haven't heard from a full cross-section of the neighborhood. And so I just, driving around and looking around and counting mailboxes, not just on the corner of Ridge there, but also going down Williams. This is a very mixed neighborhood with a lot of rental units. I think it's 10 or 11 across the street. 25 bedrooms is how it's listed. And that is the fabric of Glens Falls. I've expressed concern for other applicants in the past year about the fact that we're not providing, but there isn't housing for young families in Glens Falls. And I know that we as a board have also expressed concern about that. This is 6 units with 3 bedrooms, and if you look at the plans, it's 1 large bedroom with 2 little ones. So that to me says there's the potential for long-term tenants. And those could be a young couple that may want to start a family and stay long-term because they have the space to grow their family in that location. And in the past year, we as a board have approved 93 one-bedroom units and 6 studio apartments. And I feel that looking at the larger picture of Glens Falls, and particularly the school district, which I care very much about, I think this is good for Glens Falls. I think these are people who are likely to vote for the school budget, for example. There's nothing wrong with one-bedroom apartments for professionals, but there's also a transient nature to that. And so over and above the fact that I think it's very important that the applicant has come back and worked very hard to address all of the concerns that we have raised, and the outstanding sewer and landscaping and water issues are things that have to be approved in order to get a building permit anyway. I think that this is thoughtful development in this neighborhood on a major thoroughfare, which is Ridge Road. So that's my opinion.
Of course, my comments, this is tough for me. It is green space, it's an old house, there is a bunch of green space there that hasn't been maintained forever. It's a change for the neighborhood. Sometimes we like change, sometimes we don't. As a person who's currently having 8 apartments being built within 22 feet of my house right now where I reside, I'm very apprehensive. You don't know what's coming. I wish that I was on the planning board when that project got approved. This is really well done. They've asked that they've abided by or changed everything we've asked them to for the most part. I think we're going to open it up to public comment.
May I ask a question of the project sponsor?
What's that?
May I ask a question of the project sponsor?
To make public comment. You can come up and make public comment.
During the public comment.
I have a quick comment to make right question.
You can't hear that.
You can't hear.
You don't even know what was said.
Can I just ask the question, one question?
You have to come up to public comment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you go to the microphone so we can hear you?
Can you not hear me?
I have one question right now. Could the project sponsor identify the projected monthly rentals, the cost of a rental on those 3-bedroom units? That's right now.
Approximately $2,000.
$2,000.
It's too early to know exactly.
Thank you.
I should have asked that question. Okay, public comment, open it up, next 3 minutes, we will give you 30 seconds. Please state your name and your address.
Hi, my name is Rachel Fortini Volk. I live at 200 Ridge. I've spoken before. I'm sure you recall. I just wanted to share with you some pictures from our inside of our house, looking out the windows, just to give you a better idea of what it's going to look like, or what it looks like now, and then what it would look like. So there's pictures from our kitchen, inside of our kitchen window looking out back, our primary bedroom on the second floor looking out back, our dining room windows, which would be right the access road. It looks to the side of the garage and the property at 196 Ridge. And then standing on our side porch and then standing in our driveway. Point being, it's totally lacks privacy when that road comes in and those townhouses come in. The larger of the pictures, I show you what the view looks like from the back, and then I used kind of a marker to indicate what would then be, I guess, removed and rebuilt. Again, we are very happy with what they've done to the house next door. There were cars there that were just sitting there. It definitely looks so much better now. We're very happy that something is happening there. I work locally at Glens Falls Common School District. I'm very aware of the housing needs and the needs of our community. I'm on the board of directors at Community Action as well. I just beg that we consider the size and scope. I know it's under the zoning there, but it really it's not a lot of space for those large townhouses. And it really just kind of, people are going to be driving in and out, looking into our house. So it really takes away all of our privacy and all of the green space. We're just going to kind of be looking at apartments and a parking lot, and so I just wanted to share that with you guys so you have a kind of a better idea of what that looks like right next door. And again, it's not so sorry. Our kids go to school together and play hockey together and go to birthday parties together. So it's not personal, I promise. Thank you for your time.
Jane LaBombard. I live at 28 Union Street. I kind of joined this debate or whatever, this situation kind of late. I am a homeowner and I am a renter. I've rented in several different states, and I've had my most unsatisfactory rental experiences here in Glens Falls. That's a bigger issue we can get into another time, but I'm going to speak for the future renters of this project. Yes, it's commendable that we're keeping this beautiful Victorian and restoring it. We're not bulldozing it, although I think that should be the norm, not to be necessarily applauded. But the townhouses on the rest of the property is extra. You neighbors are gonna end up with a fence and a black sheer, covering over it to preserve your privacy. Maybe I'm picturing the aesthetics the wrong way, maybe I'm not picturing it correctly, but from my experience living here, that's what you're gonna get. And unless these apartments are built, like a fortress, it's not going to be, it's going to be loud, it's going to be busy. It's just not going to be the most pleasant living experience. I think maybe the apartments in the Victorian and you know, converting the garage into more apartments, great idea. That's creative. Yes, I understand we need to bring more families. I coached gymnastics, and one of my gymnasts, when her parents broke up, they ended up moving to South Glens Falls and living in a Skimmelhorn apartment. I understand. Probably would have been better for her to stay at Kensington. Okay, I digress, but that's my opinion. I think the apartments and the rest of the property are a little extra. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Bill Tedesco. I used to live at 50 William Street. This week, Dave Cook and I had a chance to reach out to the Snyder family with some of our concerns. We want this to be a win-win situation. A win for the neighbors, a win for the neighborhood, and a win for the Snyder family. It's their first big project. It should be a landmark for them. We are 1,000% in favor of phase one. The house is a zombie house. It's terrible. It needs to be fixed up. It'll be a gift to the city. It could be their trademark for future. But we have concerns about phase two. We would like to negotiate with them. We want to talk to them about some of our ideas that we can maybe make this thing feasible. And I think Dave will talk about some of those ideas in a minute. But it's got to be a win-win situation. If they're going to have a reputation in the city for future projects, they have to have happy neighbors, they have to have good results. We think that the interior space, which is very, very bad, could be brought out. Maybe these are our, you know, I'm not going to go into that now, but these are some of the constructive criticisms that we do have for the second part. Trees, safety, all of that will be discussed. Okay? Thank you.
My name is Christy Cook, and I live at 202 Ridge Street. We moved here last year so I could care for my 96-year-old mother, converted our two-family back to a one-family so that I could care for her through end of life. And our investment in our home was to personally live here and not as a money-making venture. I do not see the construction of a large townhouse with 6 3-bedroom units in the backyard of 196 Ridge as being what's best for the neighborhood. Imagine one large structure, but essentially 6 homes in that space, which borders single-family homes and duplexes. The density of 196 Ridge through 206 Ridge Street would increase from 9 to an additional 28 as a minimum, and maybe more, up to 40 or more, depending on the occupants per unit. That also would increase traffic on the access road. We live on Ridge, in and out of Ridge. It's hard to get out, and having that access from that additional apartments. Behind the townhouse, imagine a parking lot similar to that of Rite Aid, with 23 and up to 29 parking spaces, except this parking lot would be bordering family homes with people, where people in the parking lot would be coming and going at all hours, depending on their personal schedules. This phase of the project is not consistent with the history and character of the neighborhood, and would involve stripping the land of trees and nature. It would also affect the privacy, as was mentioned, of neighboring homes, and a 6-foot fence would not block that. I personally would be very sad to feel that in the future I would need to move from Glens Falls due to overcrowding in our neighborhood, as we are retirement age. My request to this board is that you see us as valuable homeowners and taxpayers who love Glens Falls and love the neighborhood we have chosen to live in. And I ask you not to approve the plan as proposed with the construction of that large townhouse structure and parking lot in this interior lot, which is behind our homes. I am 100% in favor of the plan to restore the beauty of the original house at 196 Ridge, and I do think, truly believe Mr. Snyder will be successful in restoring.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, members of the board. My name is Jeffrey Volk. I am a resident of 200 Ridge. I'm here tonight to express the significant concerns of many residents regarding the proposed apartment complex at 196 Ridge. Oh, sure. Yeah, it's pretty tough. Thanks. Hear me now. To express significant concerns of many residents regarding the proposed apartment complex at 196 Ridge Street at the corner of Ridge and William. We understand the need for housing in our town, and we believe that this particular development in this specific location presents serious challenges for our established single-family neighborhoods, and frankly might not align with the vision Glens Falls has for its future. The size and scope of this project also raises significant concerns about the traffic congestion and public safety in our small residential area. The intersection of Ridge and William and Ridge and Dix are both extremely busy, and this influx of residents and vehicles will undoubtedly exacerbate the problem. We also concerned with the possibility of vehicles looking to get around the congestion and by cutting through the development or the wrong way down William. I want to add that I have no ill will. We have no ill towards the developer, family, or the company. I think it was actually Dan or your father came out the first night it was snowing in December and offered to help out. Huge, nice, great people. So nothing against that. Just not what I imagined when I moved to Glens Falls and loved that area. These trees aren't falling down, they're not dead. In the summer, they grow with tons of leaves. Ask me how many leaves I pulled out of my backyard just this fall. They're doing a great job. Definitely what we need, but it's just too much for that area, and not what I envisioned when I had coming here and living here and moving. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Good evening. My name is Patricia Tadich. I live at 11 Lawton Avenue in Glens Falls. I'm 45 years of professional planning experience. I'm a retired director of Warren County Planning of 35 years, and I'm a member of the Glens Falls Consolidated Plan Committee. I'd like to point out, first of all, that the City of Glens Falls requested and was awarded $155,000 from the Department of State Smart Growth Program to do a new and updated comprehensive plan, land use regulations, and design review guidelines. The case for that was the fact that our current plan is 25 plus years old and does not meet the needs, issues, or protect the character of neighborhoods and the character of the community, or for that matter, does not allow for appropriate growth in appropriate places. The project as identified can fit into discussions that we've had at the Growth Committee and on the Plan Committee, and Tom Landry also serves on that committee and has participated in discussions about this. And we've had many discussions about the protection, of traditional residential neighborhoods in the city. And this block of where the project is proposed is exactly that. There are 12 structures on the entire block. The U.S. Census from 2020 indicates that there are primarily homeowners in that block with perhaps a rental unit there. It has already been mentioned that there are 12 units going on this particular project with 40 to 45 people, and there's also the remainder of those people in that block number 38. So you can see that we're doubling the density in that particular block. Some of the issues that I wanted to focus on have been covered by somebody else, but I just wanted to reemphasize the density issue, which was a big one. But I want to talk about open space, because open space is critical, and will be critical in the new plan and in the new regulations. There's little to no open space in that particular project. For somebody to go outside and take advantage, I'm sorry, say that again. Okay. They would have to go to the park on the corner of Hunter and Cooper Street. So I would say that that's a critical issue, and I would ask that the planning board exercise their rights under site plan review to either modify or deny this project. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Steve Hibbert. I live kitty corner to the project at 191 Ridge Street. There's been a lot of discussion about the specifics of this project, but if we go back to the most basic level, I think it would be hard to find anyone who lives in Glens Falls or anyone who cares about the future of Glens Falls who thinks another apartment complex is a good idea, especially if it is one that has the potential to diminish the character of a largely well-looked-after block and neighborhood. Apartment complexes are just another way for absentee landlords and developers to siphon off value from our town. They motivate resident owners to think about moving elsewhere, as evidenced by many of the comments tonight. And they diminish the appeal of the city for outsiders thinking of moving here. Nobody thinks that reducing green space and putting up another parking lot benefits the community. Granted, Ridge Street is a borderline case, could go either way, and there are buildings on Ridge Street that are a problem, but all the folks that are here, they are the resident owners who are speaking. The absentee landlords of the problem buildings are not here. And I think that introducing an apartment complex with another absentee owner is pushing Ridge Street in the wrong direction, not the right direction. And that's the end of my prepared comments, but I did want to make a few observations about the earlier comments from the board. That empty lot is not neglected. Granted, it's not groomed like a golf course, but it's a natural green space, and if branches fall off trees and stay there, that's good for the environment. It's good for little animals, it's good for the trees above. That space has been appreciated by everybody who lives near and drives by it. And, it's been implied that we have to put up with the apartment complex in order to have the front cleaned up and looked after. I don't think that should be the case. I think that, if anything, the apartment complex is likely to throw many of the other adjoining owner-operated, well-looked-after buildings into a greater state of disrepair. If some of those people choose to move out, if there were, we could tackle other regulations and say, no dead cars on the street, no old sofas on the sidewalk. That's what will clean up that house. We don't need to put in an apartment complex to have that. And this is strongly my opinion, but the renovation and the addition to the front Ridge Street facade, I don't think it's a quality project. I think it's all proportioned wrong and done on the cheap, and that's why I hope that you'll put off consideration of this project and modify it significantly. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hi. Good evening, everyone. Thanks again for letting me speak. I'm Judy Calogero. I live at 11 Lawton Avenue. I'm the former commissioner of the state of New York for housing. did a lot of affordable housing projects here in Glens Falls. This is not affordable housing, just so you know. Not even sure it's family friendly. If we were going to do that, maybe we'd get it down to 15 parking spaces instead of 23, because I don't think those kids will have cars. Anyways, I would love to see this historic property restored and for more people living on that corner. I think that if there is going to be units there, additional units built, new construction, townhouses, that they should be facing William Street and not the rear of the existing building. Not sure I'd want to be living there and looking at that. Also, I'm not crazy about an access road going through there and adding additional drive onto William Street. I think it's going to cause a lot of traffic issues. I also think that the plans for the project, because they involve construction that will be completed in multiple phases in more than 1 year, and include this addition of the second building with multiple residential units on it, that it's really the requirement of this planning board to ask for a seeker long form to be completed. If you go through the state's rules and you look specifically at the additional building, multiple residential units, it's not consistent with community character. The new addition is not consistent with the community character, and certainly not on that block. I think it's required to have a long form. Also, I think the Part 2 impact assessment form on the short form should be completed. I also recommend that the traffic evaluation report that was submitted be updated or corrected. From the report, it's not clear that the engineer fully comprehended that an access road is planned to be built in the middle of the property and linking traffic from Ridge Street to William Street. Also, it's not clear the engineer had the appropriate information about unit size and number of parking spaces, as the evaluation estimates that only 6 vehicle trips will enter or exit the property daily. This is highly unlikely, given that 40 to 45 individuals will likely reside on the property and have at least 23 parking spaces. The evaluation also fails to report the expected number of visitors and services, vehicles, and other vehicles that will pass through the access road daily. And so I would ask that that traffic evaluation report either be updated or a full and accurate traffic study be done. It's also been reported at several meetings that asbestos was found at the property and either removed or remediated. The immediate neighbors next door to this property were never contacted by Snyder's Drywall about this. And I understand there's a report and maybe somehow they will miraculously get it, but I think that the neighbors next door to this should have access to that asbestos report and find out if their homes or their properties. I'm cut off?
30 seconds.
Oh, I've got 30 seconds? All right, thank you. Why don't I end there? Thank you all.
My name is Ellen Van Ock, and I live at 11 Vanderhaven Street. Okay, sorry. I just want to address, I don't know why this bugs me, but the parking lot in the middle of the block. Right now, when I look out my bedroom window, I see the green space. It's beautiful. The trees, especially in the summer and spring, are beautiful. Even now, with no leaves, it's still beautiful. And by putting in, I think it was 23 spaces now, that's a pretty big sized parking lot for the middle of the interior of the block. I don't know.
I want to get into a comment that you're in the middle of this.
Exactly,
But it's been said a couple times. It's been totally.
29 to 23 is what we heard. Okay, so 23 is still significant, which includes lighting, which I understand from the last meeting that it was proposed for some bollard style lighting, which are shorter. Still be able to see those from the bedroom windows. And is it adequate enough and safe enough to have that style lighting with the people in the parking lot? Are they going to require pole lights that are going to shine in my bedroom window at night? This is a big concern. Sorry. And I think I wanted to just say, I'm not addressing anybody specifically, but somebody mentioned before that if somebody were to purchase that property privately, that they could cut down as many trees as they want. However, I don't imagine they would be putting 23 parking spaces in the middle of the block. So that's what I have to say about that. Okay, thank you.
Hi. Name is Schrader, 206 Ridge. And I would like to call into question the veracity and the numbers generated by the traffic study that's attached to the application. I have a 85-page summary published by the Department of Transportation, U.S. Department of Transportation, Federal Highway Administration. It breaks down by demographics across the United States, by type of household, the number of cars in a household, the number of trips those cars that belong to those domiciles, where they go, how many times a year, month, week, and daily they make, and where they go. Commuting to and from work, church, grocery stores, you name it, public events, etc. And the numbers that this reports, it's 85 pages long. It can put you to
Sir,
sleep.
could you come closer to the mic?
But the numbers are far higher than the numbers indicated in the report. And they even say, they even generate
Thank you.
how many occupants in those vehicles. And it breaks it down by demographically, like I said. Age, household income, male, female, and by automobile, how many occupants in each type of vehicle. SUVs, vans, motorcycles, etc. And the numbers that the report generates are in the area of 3.5 to 4.5 per average vehicle per day.
30 seconds.
And it seems to be, pardon?
30 seconds.
Okay, well, I'm pretty much through. This
Well,
report.
no, people in this group asked me to send me an email and ask to give them notice of the warning.
Okay, well, what I'm saying is this report, it's 85 pages long and it's generated by the Department of Transportation. And it calls into question those numbers in that traffic study. Thank you.
If no one else is going to share. Good evening, Chairman Belvin and other members of the Planning Board. My name is David Cook. I live at 202 Ridge Street. Thank you for your patience in hearing our concerns, our questions this evening. As you can see, we're passionate about these concerns, but we want to be respectful and considerate to the applicant and all concerned, while we seek for a compromise that would be a win-win. We wish the success of Mr. Snyder and Snyder Drywall, along with the success of us neighbors. As the board deliberates on a decision to table, disapprove, or approve this proposed project, I'm encouraging the board to consider not only what is permissible, but what is advisable for the city in keeping with the comprehensive plan intentions in the neighborhood. We have over 200 signatures, supporting our belief that the most advisable solution is to have the successful compromise that keeps the front house project only and keeps the green space in the back rear without the townhouse addition. That would be win-win to keep both those things. At the very least, we would request the board to table this project so we can review the requested studies and reports, like the city engineer report that we just heard about a couple hours ago. The thing making Glens Falls the hometown USA, and just last week, U.S. News and World Report article claimed that Glens Falls is the 7th most desirable place to live in New York State. It's not overdeveloping areas or forcing a structure like the townhouse into a green space where it is not a fit. That would forever change the character and the history. Those kind of things would reduce the appeal and charm for people to be attracted to live here, stay here, or visit as tourists. So, as the public comment was mentioned earlier, what hasn't been answered yet is a compromise that would keep the front house the way it is, or the renovations, and yet keep the green space in the back. And we have offered to purchase the green space from the family if we can work out the terms for that. So we're looking for compromise and want to thank you for your time and consideration.
Do you want to respond?
I think what we saw, which is nice, is that most of the comments were pretty balanced, that people recognize that this parcel needs to be redeveloped. I think, so the comments that we heard were pretty balanced for the most part. The neighbors recognize that the parcel needs to be redeveloped. You know, obviously they want less, but the point is that this could hold a total of 19 units, and what's proposed is 12, which is significantly less than fully developed, and we don't see that a lot. But I think what the neighbors are missing is that they're on the boundary of a zone line, and especially one couple that both spoke said they moved here a year ago, and they obviously didn't look at the Glens Falls zoning and make themselves familiar with it. But this area of Ridge Street along the corner on Dix and Williams is a multifamily RM zone which encourages multifamily development. The area behind it on Williams, as I mentioned when we got started, is a two-family zone. So in terms of the character, this is a different character because it's a different zone, and it's on the arterial, and that's where it's supposed to be. Judy misspoke when she said that there were 6 trips a day, and 6 trips was the peak hour. This is not a big traffic generator with 12 units, and that traffic study was done by a very well-respected traffic engineer in Albany that we work with all the time. Yeah, sorry. But this project is a compromise because this is not proposed as a maximum density or even close to that. It's going to improve everyone's property value because it's going to be very nice development, and I think ultimately these people are going to be their neighbors, the families that are in these units, and they're going to see that this is a pretty measured development for this part of the city that needs to be redeveloped. So we're asking you to approve it. Thank you.
Mr. Lapper, I classify this as an unlisted action under seeker. Do you agree with me?
I do.
Someone, public comment was that it should be type 1 in long form.
So this is not a type 1 action. This is
I
unlisted.
classified it as unlisted.
I looked at that and I agree with you. This is an unlisted action.
What about the compromise?
This is a compromise because it's 12 units instead of 19.
But there is no selling?
No. They bought this to redevelop it as a multifamily project, because this is the zone that allows that. Thank you.
With respect to seeker, I would classify this action as an unlisted action. The applicant has provided the Part 1 short environmental assessment form, which is required. The board has to review the Part 2 impact assessment. Number 1, will the regulation action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulation? No. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of the use of land? No or small impact? Small impact. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? No or small impact. You have to, one has to speak up, please. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? No. Will the proposed action create an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? No. Will the proposed action impact existing public-private water supplies? No. Public-private wastewater treatment utilities? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources such as wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, or fauna? No. Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, drainage problems? No. Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? No. Based upon the board's review of the Part 2 assessment, the board could issue a negative declaration. So you need a seeker motion.
I'd like to make a motion that Glens Falls Planning Board hereby accepts the agency status for 196 Ridge Street, GF LLC, owner of the property located at 196 Ridge Street. The board has determined the action to be unlisted.
Yes.
An unlisted action has reviewed the short-form environmental assessment form upon documentation, discussion, issues, and negative declaration.
Second. All in favor?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yes? Okay.
Unanimous?
I got a quick question on the seeker. We were asked as the board, as far as like adverse drainage impacts and things like that. And I'm assuming that there's going to be contingencies put in there as viable from the city engineer.
Correct.
Yes.
So that's, right, it's just for seeker, not the site plan. So that motion carried.
Yes.
With respect to the board making a motion, I want to point out that the city engineer did issue a report today, and can I remember? The city engineer did issue a report this afternoon, and it includes 7 items, some of which are standard because they're construction level site plan to be stamped by a PE or RLA. Those are all industry standard, but the applicant is willing to comply with the 7 requests of the city engineer.
Yes.
So that would be part of, if you approve it, it's part of the approval.
And there's also from William York, there was a request of the city before the connection takes place on the city lateral for the sanitary main camera inspected along the Union Street, west side of Main Street, west of the connection to Main Street.
Are you okay with scoping the main?
Yes.
So that's another condition. That's all we have. I would.
I'd like to make a motion that the Glens Falls Planning Board, acting as the board of site plan review, hereby grant
second that motion? What's it? Roll call. All right, so, Mr. Landry?
Yes. Yes.
Yes?
No.
So site plan passed, now you also have architectural review motion.
I'd like to make a motion that the Glens Planning Board, acting as the Board of Architectural Review, hereby grant architectural approval for the project identified as 196 Ridge Street, GF LLC, located at 196 Ridge Street, Glens Falls, as presented at the meeting of December 3rd, 2025.
Second motion. Mr. Landry?
Yes.
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 Yes?
No.
Motion passed.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. So, you guys are making down Next order of business. Next order of business, site plan review, SB 25-0025, Market Road, Primary, 38 North Tax Map number 303.13-17-11, Common Domes 35, Dixon Avenue, represented by Casey Scoville. Are seeking to continue operation of our rules and short-term rental district via the sunset clause pursuant to the City of Glens Falls zoning code, chapter 220-30A1E and 5. This requires site plan review. Well,
Thank you. Casey Scoville. I live at 10 Ridge Street, Glens Falls, New York. It's 35 Dix, but I resign. I'm here for them. Yes.
You're not the applicant.
No.
Right, I got it.
okay.
So it's a continuation of the short term. Until the sunset.
To the sunset.
Correct.
Do we have any issues?
None. Great neighbors.
Not showing you guys, great, good with the neighbors, everything.
Great with the neighbors. The neighbor's son actually plows the driveway, so, and the other neighbor is one of my best friend's aunt, so they've got direct lines of access to me, and Candace is assisting in caring for the property as well, so. Okay. So, when the notes that are listed inside the units should say 911 for emergency, correct?
time, but the way it's written, it says fire EMS, kind of used to the fact that they have an emergency.
Okay. We can update that. It is also listed in the listing for emergencies. Dial 911 and contact me for. Certainly, we can update that. Okay.
Email that number goes over to the 911 system of the county.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. No, we have cameras on the property, so any things that are happening in addition to, off the property, like we've had people run through the property, we deal with that.
Yeah, we're not familiar with the problem, so it's a good thing. Haven't had any issues. I don't have any issues.
We share cleanup and mowing of the part that goes along the bike trail with the city, so sometimes they don't have to mow because we've already done it.
We did it.
Motion to approve short-term
I'd like to make a motion to ask the planning board approve the short-term rental to go through the sunset clause, is common minimum as American Dodge currently owners of tax map, common minimum is 35 Saturday, as presented in the summary.
Second? All in favor?
Thank you. And just so you guys know, all my units are back for regular rental. No more Airbnb for me.
All right, site plan review, SB 25-0026, Katie Foster, Missy, tax map number 309.28-2-6, commonly known as 46 South Street, seeking to open a wine and whiskey bar and a baking commercial space on ground floor pursuant to the City of Glensville zoning code, chapter 220-19C and 5. This requires site plan review and approval.
I'm William Dickman. Speaking of the microphone.
I'm William Digman, owner of the proposed premises.
As well as Katie Foster, we're 50-50 split
Okay.
ownership.
All right. Also, the wine and whiskey bar on site.
Right now, the building is zoned just broadly commercial use, so we're asking to have it zoned as restaurant. We have a space that's 2,600 square foot. It'll have capacity of 70, maybe a total of 70 max patron. And then it'll be a more luxury, high-end wine bar that'll be kind of catered toward, well, obviously, of course, food. It'll be a bar and restaurant. It'll be a full kitchen, full menu, but not a late night, more geared toward early evenings, close at 10, 7 days a week, quieter scene, hopefully. That's what we're looking for.
As having toured that building and stood in that site, I think it's going to be a great site. Normally, I can answer some of these questions that we normally ask all our sewer call coming out of that building going. So a lot of stuff that they've renovated that whole thing. So I'm just trying to. Normally, stuff that we would all ask has already been taken care of because that building's under renovation right now. And I recently just toured that and actually visualized it all.
All new fire water system, as well as all new hood system. The kitchen will be independently on our fires. Yes. Exactly. Yes.
Is it the corner unit?
The corner.
Yes, the corner.
Where the tax.
Yes.
I struggle to remember what's
I don't, and it's going to be so beautiful.
Where will the exhaust for the kitchen?
It's on the exterior building on Elm Street. There's the window front. It'll be right behind the window front, but it's the first floor, first floor.
Street level?
Not street level. It'll be, so I think there's 12-foot ceilings, so it'll be, yeah,
Above the sidewalk?
above the sidewalk, yes.
Like round rules like that where it's sort of.
It'll be higher.
But then the end of the corner as well, so not really like in the walking
There's no
area.
walkway.
No. It'll be the doorway into our back entryway where the dumpsters will live. So.
And yes, the dumpsters will live
Inside, so
in
there's
that.
There's an access in that
There's
space.
a double door, yeah, so it'll be right inside, covered.
So you guys aren't gonna have any outdoor garbage?
No.
Mr. Wolford, you have?
No, sounds good.
I think it's going to be a really good spot. You can already see the dog spot. This is just looking great. I think this is a really nice addition. I think that our round bar.
I think so.
It sounds like it does have a little more.
I think it looks great. I just have a couple things. So it shows 79 feet. I just planned it out.
Give or take, but
So,
I,
and it's standing room, so you're gonna standing room behind it. Second row bar, standing room, they have standing room. So you're probably pushing occupancy close to 100. I was confused. So the second exit, where is the second exit? Because it looks like a plan that shows a closet.
no, that won't be it. That'll be the coat closet when you first walk in that door, but the second exit is actually a double door through, if you,
Onto Elm.
yeah, onto Elm Street, on on the side of Elm Street, the double door. I mean, yes, but it's a big area. It's all one level.
Because the exits, I don't think you can have any active placement or anything like that, so there's any possibles or anything trade that. So you're gonna have to, probably have to figure out what has to be done. So it's gonna be practical for our officials and the building code officials to figure that out. You're definitely gonna see what has to be. Most likely, we're going to use budgets. So it's going to be something that usually those that you can't exit to the kitchen, you can't exit to an area where there's still restroom. So the thing is, usually that's going to be the issue. But I would sit down with the fire department officials sooner than later to try to figure that out. Okay?
What Jamie said, also involved in the other great locations, great. I've said it before, but I'll say it again, in a year or two, South Street's going to be one of the nicest places in the city. They're not a lot of them say that it's happening. So,
We're excited to be part of that. We're very excited to be part of that.
so I think it's going to be great.
I have no concerns. I think it's, as long as code is met, which you're not gonna get the permit until it is anyway, you guys will meet code. I think it'd be really nice to have an upscale establishment there on that corner.
It's adding to what's already coming, and there's another place down there, so business creates business, and it's already here. All right, you guys have any issues?
We're just looking at the site request.
Well, so, you got, Dale, have to deal with their.
Yeah, just go and contact, you kind of work. Figure it out.
Okay.
That's your name's on it, so.
Yeah, we already talked. Yep.
Jack, you're correct, you didn't have any issues with this?
No, I.
That's all right.
Okay.
All right.
With respect to seeker, I would classify this as a type 2 action, therefore no further action is required.
We didn't get public comment on this, so anyone like to comment on this? Anyone like to comment on this application? Yeah.
Sorry about that. No, I was coming up to make sure we didn't skip that.
There's no public comment on this? Thank you. Okay. Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion that Glens Falls Planning Board action as a board of site plan review hereby grant site plan approval for the project identified as King Foster, lessee of the tax map commonly known as 46 South Street, as presented as a project as presented at the meeting of December 3rd, 2025.
Second motion, all in favor?
Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Site plan review, SB 25-0027, Glens Area Youth Center, owner tax map number 309.7-13-7.2, commonly known as 60 Mount Palm Street, represented by Prime Construction, are seeking to construct a 2,650 square foot addition to the existing building pursuant to the City of Glens Falls zoning code, chapter 220-17B. This requires site plan review and approval. Oh, architectural review. Glens Falls Area Youth Center, we will do these at the same time. Owner tax map number 309.7-13-7.2, commonly known as 60 Mount Palm Street, represented by Frank Construction, are seeking to construct a 2,650 square foot addition to the existing building pursuant to the City of Glens Falls zoning code, chapter 220-17B. This requires architectural review and approval.
How you doing? My name is Tony Down with Capital Architecture. And Director Molly's here for the youth center. I'm going to try and walk over here if I'm not loud enough.
Seems like it's not so bad. So this project basically takes into account that there's an existing building here, Main Street wood structure, and we're doing an addition over here. And these are basically for the neighborhood youth that come out of school and they come here after class. They stay homework and then obviously on weekends and things. The lot comes all the way over here. This is all grass out. We're going from about 60% grass to 55, so it's not a big difference in what we're doing. A simple site plan. This is an open area where we'll be moving weight room, weights and everything over here, so that they can use it for more of the smaller kids can stay here, the larger kids can come to this side. There'll be a little bit of a storage area so that they don't keep stuff outside anymore. But otherwise, it'll stay very similar. They'll also be changing to handicap toilets. This is a quick perspective of it. We're using hardwood siding. This is now Main Street here. It's basically brown tone. We're keeping with that. So this is existing, and this is the addition. So we'll be about 6 feet lower than the original building, and about 40% of the original building.
Nina?
So I was looking at it online, actually, it looked like that panel in the front was bright white, but I see, no, the one down. Oh, yeah, but
It's beige.
it's beige, yes, as long as, yeah, and it seemed a little bright to me, and I was like, well, you've got all those colors that you can match to the existing building, so it would, is that what you're doing, you're matching?
We're bringing it with the same color as that person, but it's a beige hardwood.
Yeah, it's a good quality material.
Yes.
It'll wear well, it's not vinyl.
Yeah, everything's cemented.
I mean, and I assume then that you're gonna be submitting site plan with whatever is required from a stormwater point of view because you're expanding.
Yes,
And that you're going to meet.
Yes. With the amount of area, we actually can contain it with the grass.
Yeah, your site is big, it shouldn't be, right, just making sure all the documents are in place. And then I think I saw something in there about the number of parking spaces was
Yes.
perhaps less than what the area would have required by code. However, the kids aren't driving to this
Right.
facility. It's primarily staff, as I understand it, or the ones who get dropped off by parents.
Right, they have it was a 14-car parking lot now.
Right.
And obviously the kids after school aren't driving there, so.
And I'm familiar with this, and they show up on their bikes, and
Right.
I think it's a really good expansion for a very needed program in that part of as well. So.
It's a nice building between the heavier commercial to the residential.
You're happy with this?
I have no concerns.
Mr. Moore?
We have an asphalt. We're gonna keep it just grass outside, so the kids play. But we do have the trees out there.
With respect to seeker, I would classify this as a type 2 action under section 617(5)(c)(9) as its construction or expansion of a primary or accessory non-residential structure or facility involving less than 4,000 square feet of gross floor area. This project says it's under 3,000 square feet.
Yes, 2050.
And it does not involve a change in zoning or use variance, and it's consistent with land use, so no further action is required.
I'd like to make a motion that the Glens Falls Planning Board, acting as the Board of Architectural and Site Plan Review, hereby grant architectural and site plan approval for the project identified.
Public comment, I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's all right.
Any public comment on this? Anyone from the public would like to comment? Thank you.
I got you. That's why I'm here, right?
I'd like to make a motion that the Glens Falls Planning Board, acting as the Board of Architectural and Site Plan Review, hereby grant architectural and site plan approval for the project identified as the Glens Falls Area Youth Center, commonly known as 60 Mile Common Street, as presented at the meeting of December 3rd, 2025.
Second that motion. All in favor?
Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
I have a couple of treadmills we need to hold. Site plan review, SB 25-0028, Leonard Cooper and Lawrence LLC, owners of tax map number 303.17-13-17, commonly known as 188 Maple Street, are seeking to construct permanent performance stage to replace the existing temporary canvas performance stage that already exists on the property. Pursuant to the City of Glens zoning code, chapter 220-20B, this should require site plan review and approval. Architecture review, same time, AR 25-0014. Leonard Cooper and Lawrence LLC, owners of tax map number 303.17-13-17, commonly known as 188 Maple Street, are seeking to construct a permanent performance stage to replace the existing temporary canvas performance stage that already exists on the property pursuant to the City of Glens zoning code, chapter 220-20B. This requires architectural review and approval. Mr. Hall?
Good evening. For your records, Ethan Hall, Principal of Regency Hall Architecture, here tonight with Eric Dunkoff. So you've got 2 or 3 parts going on here. All right. The first application is for this lot, which is on Maple Street. Eric owns this lot, this lot, this lot, the shirt factory, and the lot across the street. We had to do these 2 lots together because they're split by Curran Lane, and that's the next application, which is here. This application is for the performance stage, which is behind this building at 188 Maple Street. This is the existing site plan that shows where the existing stage is now.
Let's go to the same spot.
Pretty much. We actually had to move it back a little bit because the existing stage is kind of straddles the property line. We did have to get some zoning variances for this one. We've been to the zoning board and they granted us the zoning area variances that we needed. And so this is the location where the covered stage is going to go. Basically it replaces the unit that's there now, which is kind of a temporary campus structure. This will be a permanent structure. Again, all of these things that you're going to hear tonight are the reutilization of
the old farmers
the old South Street building. Correct. Yep. And they're all stacked up right now, right? So, It's a little bit wider and a little bit deep. This is 18 deep by 32. 30. That's what the trusses are.
I think, what are we doing on the ground? Pouring a concrete slab?
Yeah, I think eventually, we've got to call it a slab.
Yeah, this one we got to call out the slab right at the outside so that it'll be even with the outside eaves of the building. It'll be that
Is it raised, is the stage, so
It's the slope is naturally raised. If you're back where that's going, it's probably about 2-3 foot higher than the ground I'm seeing area. So and that's just the way it is now. I'm not changing the grade. It's existing.
The first drawing in your package was one that was provided to the zoning board. They asked us to put in some spot grades, and you can see on here the spot grades. This whole lot here is shaped like a bowl. There's a high spot here, high spot back here, high spot along the neighbor's property, and the high spot at the building, and everything in the middle is low. So all of this drains to
There's another sheet in the packet. This whole area was brought down elevation to act as a spot for drainage. And
did you provide us with a drawing one time with all that stuff on there?
It's on there. It's in the package that we did. It's Vision Engineering drawing. It's in that package. That was part of the original when Rockhill Bakehouse moved over there. That was part of what was done when Rockhill moved over to this case. That should be the last one. Yeah, the one you got right there. Yeah, there's a driveway right there. It's right now, it's right here.
No, I think the water issue over there is not a fair issue, so. We've been over this on many different things. It is, yeah.
And at the zoning.
Mr. Morris, do you have any comments?
No, I think you've got a lot of good ideas, but mentally I'm trying to determine, do you have a cohesive plan how this is all going to fit together?
Yeah, so you'll see in your next application that we kind of tie the rest of it.
All right, that's what I'm looking for. The idea, individually, all these ideas are great. I'm just trying to...
Because they're on separate lots, we have to deal with them as separate.
Are we doing these consecutively tonight then?
Yes.
Yeah, you have the applications for both of them.
So just to give you a preview, this is two sections of the farmer's market and the building recycled here to replace that canopy. Facing the stage, which is one section of farmer's market and the building. So, the only difference here was that temporary piece was a little bit, was closer to this lot line, which moved it back and off the lot. It's, seating stage.
So you're gonna use the other part for seed?
So, right.
That's your next step.
This was right, I know, but
This was the part we were last.
Right. I remember that.
So there's that section. Yeah. So there's two sections of the pavilion, two sections of the pavilion, one section of the pavilion, and then 5 sections of the pavilion in the back here as a maintenance storage shed. So all the man lift, snow plows, fork truck, all the stuff that's ugly gets stored in here. This gets all regraded with storm drains, so that we just kind of clean up everything here and recycle the entire pavilion.
Are there going to be sides? Are you going to...
So there's no sides, these are just open.
Yes,
These
yes.
here are just open sheds. This is actually like a pole barn.
So this is going to have
You're
some.
going to see you next
So we're
Yes, yes.
just reviewing right now the news.
So we're kind of getting ahead of this. So, yeah, I'm just trying to answer your question. But it'll go quicker when we get to the next one. We're on time. Okay.
It's right.
Yeah, and we, honestly, we don't really have, when we got this property, it was horrific. And this was flooded from here, across the street, back here, and this was a lake. And we regraded everything, we had to grade everything, those drywalls. Actually, we put these sidewalks in to keep the stormwater off the street, because the city doesn't have any stormwater for the interior. So we're dealing with the street as well. So we're going to kind of,
Well, I guess this is just another way I think it's,
Mr. Shamel?
Actually, I was going to ask you about the water.
Yeah, no, we.
It's already a 4x4, driveway, is that, you know, do they handle that?
So which driveway? This one?
So, the one you're showing?
Yeah, the one that's right here does, and the other thing to keep in mind is this whole space is 4 feet deep.
Yeah, it's a crushed stone.
So that is
It's like a surface, it's almost like a surface.
Okay.
The only time we have
That's in the
slight issue.
the greater stormwater next to this, is that going to take capacity, or do you make that out of stone too?
That's already there. It's already there. And that whole space, Eric and I did talk about, he's going on and say, we kind of moving out.
It's like probably, in March, February, March, we get a big rain, a mile of snow,
And it can't
you
run
know,
through this.
so we were talking about putting a second dry well here to take the rest of the water.
To just be able to kind of change.
Before it gets to the side.
Yeah, well, we would kind of use it, pipe or two, yeah.
Yep, we'll equalize it.
Yeah, because once the ground's frozen, that's not permanent, when that starts to melt, you can't get into the ground unless you have the well. But even then, usually the worst that happens is you get water right up to the edge here.
Where it's gonna cloud.
This dip here usually takes most everything.
When it was Perkins Recycling, it was late back then.
Anyone from the public like to comment on this? Yeah.
This matter, this application was referred to the Warren County Planning Department, it was reviewed by the department on November 19th, and they have issued the following. The Warren County Planning Department finds that the proposed action has no significant inter-county or county-wide impacts. Signed by Sarah Ruger, November 19th. With respect to seeker, I would classify this as a type 2 action, therefore no further action is required by the board.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion that the House Planning Board, acting as the Board of Architectural and Site Plan Review, hereby grant architectural and site plan approval for the project identified as Leonard Cooper and Lawrence LLC, commonly known as 188 Main Street, as presented.
I did. I said it's a type 2. I did do that.
Oh,
So we don't need a motion, right?
No, I classified it as a type 2 action, therefore no further action is required. I said it after I said the Warren County Planning.
As presented at the meeting of December 3rd, 2025.
I'd second that motion, all in favor?
Great. We're not gonna go too far.
No, you guys stay right there. All right. Site plan review, architecture review, site plan review 25-0029 Curran Lane LLC, owners of tax map number 303.17-13-8 pavilion to replace the existing temporary canvas pavilion on the property. The applicant is also seeking to construct a new enclosed maintenance building for use by the shirt factory and adjacent properties. The applicant is also seeking to construct a new permanent toilet facility on the property as well. Pursuant to the City of Glens Falls zoning code, chapter 220-20B, this requires site plan review and approval. Architectural review, AR 25-0015, Kern Lane LLC, owners of tax map number 303.17-13-8, commonly known as 18 through 26 Kern Lane, are seeking to construct a permanent covered pavilion to replace the existing temporary canvas pavilion on the property. The applicant is also seeking to construct a new enclosed maintenance building for use by the shirt factory and adjacent properties. The applicant is seeking to construct a new permanent toilet facility on the property as well. Pursuant to the City of Glens Falls zoning code, chapter 220-20B, this requires architectural review and approval.
Good evening. I promise I won't bother you again this year. Okay, so the covered pavilion is right in front of the stage. As Eric had said before, this pavilion is exactly the same as the pavilion that we got approved at the November meeting. Again, we're utilizing two sections of the former South Street Pavilion there. The maintenance building is across the street. This is immediately behind. So this is Glens Falls Produce right here. This is Glens Falls Produce's loading docks back here. Currently, a lot of Eric's equipment is sitting out here. There are a couple of containers here. There is one container across on Leonard that faces Leonard Street. The intention here is this will be the enclosed building, Jack, that we've got right here. We'll utilize two sections of the old pavilion here, and three sections of it here. That will use up everything that we've got. And then the corner where the two pieces come together will be the office space, the heated office space garage for the garage. There will be an overhead door for access to get in here and an overhead door to get in on this side. This is going to be a little bit taller building. You see the size of the building, the overhead door here, the overhead door at Leonard Street, and then this is the office itself. Inside.
Ethan, do you know how many square feet that is? I'm sorry.
I wish I had that. I had 54 by 32 and then 36 by 32. So off the top of my head, I can't quite do that math. And this is about 1,800 in the big floor, and then about another 1,000. It's probably 2,500.
Less than 4,000.
Oh, yeah, okay. And then these are the ends of the building, and this is the room. This is the end that faces Leonard Street. This is the side that faces back into the lot, and then this is the back of the building that is facing what was the old railroad track. Again, we made this portion significantly higher so that we can get a 14-foot overhead door. He has a loader at the facility, a front-end loader, which is fairly tall, but fairly not cab on it. We wanted to have anything that we can get, anything over the road. 14 feet is your maximum load limit, so we put a 14-foot door in and move everything up so we can get, if we needed to get a tractor trailer in there, or a dump truck or anything. So that's those two pieces. The last piece is the toilet facility. That's this building here. This is an old portion of the rail siding. This is not coming part of the Warren County Lake Path. Warren County Lake Path is down, it goes around the Coast-Star building, comes down Leonard Street, picks up on the other side of Leonard Street, and takes off from there. This is paved, however, and it's a walking path that goes through here. It is utilized by the people at the shirt factory and the events that they got there. What we're trying to do here is to build a permanent toilet facility. Water and sewer in Kern Lane, and we would be attaching these as a permanent facility into there. You know, Eric said we talked with people at Warren County about potentially.
stick-built building. We have that impacted. The front faces the asphalt walking path itself.
So will that be locked when there's not enough?
Yeah. No, it's otherwise it would be
It's shut it, you'll shut it down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, in the winter time, it's shut down. So basically, this is the front side that faces the white path. We've got an entry that comes in, we've got the women's side, the men's side, and then there will be a family kind of restroom here. And then the utility space in the back, it's gonna have a walk in there. That kind of stuff, and it will have slab on frost walls, and then there's a truss roof. We do have a overhang, overbuild in the front to divert water away from the entry. Other than that, it's a four-way.
Three fixtures on each side plus the family.
Correct.
How does that compare to the number of porta potties you usually have to?
I don't usually bring in porta potties, but the problem is it's, you have people using the facilities in the building.
Right, they're running around.
It's kind of like, we're getting to what we can do.
It is a great event, so. I think it'd be a great addition. Ms. Morris?
So will you continue to use the facilities both in the building and?
Oh, yeah, no, we absolutely still use that. It's just, this is to kind of take some of the pressure off of those facilities. Because what happens is like, depending on the night, we might have a line of like, 6, 8, 10 people deep. We can use bathrooms, and it's just like, wow, we gotta do something about that.
If you look at the plumbing code for an assembly space, which technically, this is an outdoor, so it's not really an assembly space, but for something like this, it's for 6 toilets, it is 175 people per fixture. So 3 fixtures on each side, a total of 6 fixtures times 175, that's a lot of people. Yeah, roughly. And actually it's 7.
No, then you're gonna have to also have the other, so.
Yeah,
everything that's inside.
Do you have to have lighting on all these buildings? You're gonna have lighting on?
Yes. Yeah, everything will be wall mounted down attached fixtures. The ones on this will probably just have fixtures at the entryway up underneath.
But the event's usually over by dark.
Oh,
yeah, that's overhead. So, the only time that we have a little bit of dark is the last couple of September. So usually it's getting darker around 7:30. So
do you
using a lot of sun stuff?
Do you have some kind of security or cameras on there? Because there's been some homeless people that have been.
So we've got cameras out. We always need more. We will be putting cameras out on this building, on that maintenance building. We don't have the ability to really put any cameras out there. We don't have an electric on that side of the property. And once we do, we will be putting.
I'm just thinking to protect your investment. Just spend
No,
all this
and knock on wood, we haven't really had too many problems. We probably have less issues than we have downtown. But, we certainly are people from the homeless community, floating around because we've got community action. What's that? Well, only yes. I think there's lighting on the front of the building across yeah. So I mean, it'll be pretty close to 100 people. Yeah.
Well, the building itself is 41 feet back from the property. If you go on this walking area here,
We still have the 75.
yeah, and this is all wood. This isn't wood. The wood started back here.
Yeah, there's existing lighting in the front of this building.
Base of this building.
I mean, if you're building a facility, I'm saying, you have roughly.
Yeah.
That's going to be, that'd be my concern. So 2 nights, you have.
I mean, I guess we put some
section of the path.
Yeah.
Right.
On either side.
Well, we've got this area here we use for our, for animal presentations.
Yeah, I don't have an issue about our concern access.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I mean, actually, with electric here, you can conceivably, we can put something on the backside of that. Light on that, and that's where it is.
So can you just point out for us the curb cut that you will be using to access the new utility building? It's gonna be
The curb's already,
Is it-
actually is no sidewalk on either side
just
there.
all that.
It's basically dirt to the road.
Will you then be defining the edges at all? Because I know there's the loading dock for
So,
those guys across there. I'm just,
Yeah. So right now, the opening, this is all completely open across here, and there's an opening here. So this is the travel path from currently in from Leonard Street. And the trucks can come in and back up here, and then you go out this way or out this way. This currently is all gravel, and it's the intent to put in a couple of drywalls here to cap the roof, and get some additional drainage down into the ground there, and then we'll be able to pave that section, and we don't have to worry about the trucks turning on.
I mean, and what the plan is here too, because once we establish our elevations, we're going to have to grade so that we've got proper drainage to these driveways, right? So we're going to be grading this section, plus we want water to go away from the building on the wall. At that point, then we're going to do planter beds in front of these containers that have to address that whole area.
so it's sort of tree at the upper part of the site there, and the path kind of goes through there.
This area is all fairly wooded.
How much of that will you be taking down?
We're not taking any trees down.
Okay.
Where this is going, there's no trees. This is basically, there's a few trees up in here. This area here is pretty well treated, but this is just basically
It's just all
scrub.
This is kind of grass area, and then there's a lot of Japanese knotweed right here, that's where the buildings would go.
Can you, and then for all of us, point out the property line, excuse me,
All
of
the
the
way back
first
here.
neighbor?
So this is the one line here, and then the other line is here.
Yeah. So there is a neighbor here. This is a vacant parcel, I believe.
No, this is
there's
a house.
around the corner. And then, so the nearest neighbor, the nearest residential portion is that building right there.
Right.
And-
You didn't need any variance.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah, all of these need to be.
because
It's in
a
the
setback from the road.
light industrial zone, 50 feet on the front, and then double the height of the tallest building.
Everything's
on the
because
property.
we've got multiple frontages here too.
So yes, we got area variances. for all. ZBA gave us all the variances at the, I believe that was November.
Mr. Landry, you have comments on this?
No, again, this is the definite improvement. And, could you
What's the siding choices on the buildings?
What's the
What siding choices on the buildings?
Siding?
Yeah.
It's going to be steel siding.
Yeah, like I called out backwards
what's it gonna be sized for?
It'll be a horizontal clapboard. I don't know if we really haven't discussed it. Vinyl obviously is the cheapest, but it's probably not something that's really gonna hold up a real lot, so we probably look for some kind of an engineered design.
Parents' bars are
Maybe the retro, that whole train and shoot. You know, I know you got the other building you wanna do, and you're working on that.
On the switch tower?
Yeah, and so, I mean, maybe it could fit that motif and look kind of cool, you know? I listen. You know, little station, you know, look or something, you know, like cool retro, you know, to go with your whole, there's a lot of stuff going on next. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on at that site, the storage stuff, it could look pretty cool.
Back to the site plan, forgive me because I don't know the answer. Is there a fence between your parcel and that first neighbor?
No.
So, we're gonna have more people walking along that path to get to the bathrooms, during events. I know that they're probably used to a lot of people during events. I'm wondering if you need something to delineate your development and that first.
I mean, I get along really well, that's Chuck Reno that owns that parcel.
Yeah, and the back of his lot is heavily wooded, and here's the other thing too, Dana. This corner right here has a horse statue on it now, and several pieces of split rail fence that run along the edge of this walking path, and the horse statue is behind it. It was a horse statue that's made out of leftover odds and ends. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah.
The artist did it.
And I guess, yeah, my concern is just because people now will be going there.
No, you're right, this whole spot on this side of the path is pretty well worn. It's not, it's wooded here, and Chuck has actually maintained a little bit of a green strip here that he owns this, maybe it's indicated, so it's like wildlife and stuff like that, that's what it's on the grass.
As long as, yeah.
And that path is there.
Well, I know that
We're not
path is there,
establishing.
but there's now more of a reason for people to use it. Yeah, if you still want to do any other things, this is not changing how the path gets used.
Yeah, no worries.
We don't need any kind of crosswalk or anything, because because your big events are down.
So, let's say here, okay, you know, earlier this year, to address the drainage on the current road, in theory, somewhere in the future. The city's going to be installing a drywall on the street somewhere around here to accept the city. The sidewalk is going to be done here, but this telephone pole has to be relocated to do that. I believe the city is going to do sidewalks on the other side. We did talk about doing crosswalks here. At some place, I don't know if they're going to do these sidewalks here, or I'll have to be redone too. They're just the whole Leonard Street section of sidewalk into the bike path is pretty rough.
And the other place I'm asking about is at the very end of your path to the new bathroom, because down left, which we can't see on the site plan, if you were to zoom out, that's where all the action is with food trucks. So you
I don't have a But Jeremy, like I said, Jeremy and I already had the conversation. We were talking about, you know, improvements in terms of sidewalk, you know, mainly from the standpoint of making things accessible as possible for people. Because right now, technically speaking, it's kind of, you know, technically speaking, you know, the bike path doesn't have this end or up further up where it comes on the Leonard, sidewalk ends and you have to go into the street and then you pick up the path again. And it's the same on this side. So there's a lot of stuff that needs to get worked out over here.
And some of that is counted.
What would number of people talking about? That is a state street. I would recommend
Current lane is not, because current lane is such a small and it's not heavily traveled.
It is, the thing is, the concern is that it's 750 people using that bathroom.
Yeah, potentially.
Potentially, that is a public safety concern. I think it's a problem more.
No, like I said, earlier in the year, when I was talking to Jeremy about the sidewalks, we were talking about which crosswalks. The motion, put something in there to go, it's got to be
Review by safety and by
With their recommendations, that's good.
Would anyone from the public have any comments?
Just, I like the ideas. You got multiple buildings, a bathroom and a shed. Would it make sense if the siding and stuff are kind of uniform so that there's some uniformity in the various buildings? Or instead of, I'm just raising it.
Physically, if you were on site, okay, visually, you're not really going to see, you're not really, depending on, pretty much no matter where you are, visually, you're not going to see both things at the same time. There's some trees up in this area that are going to block the view of where this is going to be. And, if you're over here, this blocks the view of you're really not going to get.
All right, well, that's not just raising issues here.
Even though they're on the same property, it's almost like two separate sites.
Well, yeah, I mean, the trees aren't shown here, but, there's greenery.
That's good.
Yeah, and more than likely, in some of
So,
one of the stuff,
You all have that arrows on the side.
This is exactly, so it's going to be
This project was also referred to the Warren County Planning Department, and they have commented, the Warren County Planning Department finds that the proposed action has no significant intercommunity or county-wide impacts, signed and reviewed by the Planning Department, Sarah Bluebird, November 19, 2025. With respect to seeker, I would classify this also as a type 2, as it's under 4,000 square feet, therefore no further action is required.
That the Glens Planning Board, acting as the Board of Architecture and Site Plan Review, hereby recommend architectural plan, site plan, approval for the project identified as Currently LLC, owners of the tax map on the as 1826 Current Lane, as presented to the December 3rd.
Second.
Oh, sorry, condition.
What condition?
With the condition that they reach out to the Board of Public Safety and have.
Awesome. Okay. I second the motion. All in favor? Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
We're done with you this year. I make a motion to adjourn.
Devin, you